Shalom, family. Good to see you all here. Hope you're doing well. Well, back in 2024, Candace Owens tried to apply for a visa, and this visa was supposed to allow her to stay for about, I think she was only going to be in there for maybe a week in Australia. And they blocked the visa and pretty much said they did not want her to come because of her ideology, and they were afraid it was going to cause a problem within Australia with the right wing. Now, at that same time, she also applied for a visa to go to New Zealand and got the same thing happened. New Zealand rejected her visa application. Well, Candace couldn't let it go. I guess she couldn't believe that a white country would not allow her in. That was hard for her to believe. So she took it to the high courts in Australia. And just a few days ago, they rejected her visa again. So they pretty much made it clear Candace is not welcomed in Australia. They don't want her there. They don't want her having any kind of speaking engagements there. And you're going to listen to what she says. She says she finds it hard to believe that she can't get in a country. Well, Candace, get used to it. There's a lot of people on this earth that don't particularly care for you, and they don't care for the things that you say. And I mean, I don't know who would support you in getting in those countries when you have damn near offended everyone. So, I guess that must really hurt. There are countries that don't want you at all. So, y'all, let me go ahead and share my screen so we can get into this. Okay, please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. How you doing, True Royal? I got to get in touch with you. I want to set up a current event this coming Sunday. So I'll be reaching out to you soon. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
I still can't believe that I'm like banned from, I got banned from a country. Like, what am I doing that my country, I wasn't even going to speak about Israel, like nothing. And yet the Zionist lobby rose up and like, she can't speak. I was going to speak about homeschooling and children and my backstory and race issues. And they were like, you can't come in. Okay. But you can still download my podcast on Spotify. Like, I don't understand.
So the news just dropped that Candace Owens will not be getting her visa. She was trying to challenge in the High Court, to the tune of $400,000, by the way, the fact that they don't have the right to do this. We have freedom of speech in Australia and we should be able to come out and speak. Now that's been rejected. You can't go any higher than the High Court of Australia. And unfortunately, that means the tour scheduled for June is off. It's not going to happen. It's a shame because she was allowed to speak in New Zealand, but apparently she can't speak in Australia. The double standard here is nuts. You've got ISIS brides that were snuck in into the cover of night into Australia, but Candace Owens is not allowed into the country because she has the potential to incite discord, division. That's insane. That's crazy. And look, you may not agree with everything she said, but check this comment out from Rukshan. He says, personally, I don't agree with Candace on many of her recent views. However, I don't believe such judgments on character grounds based on her political or ideological views are in line with upholding free speech principles that are a normal part of political discourse. Yes, she has said some pretty outlandish things and specifically spoken out against certain communities, but I don't think she's incited any type of violence with her speech. And he's absolutely correct. I mean, if you look at her own words on what she was coming out to speak on, This is what she had to say.
I was going to speak about homeschooling and children and my backstory and race issues. And they were like, you can't come in.
And the timing of this just seems off. I mean, we were in the final hours of Charlie Kirk's birthday in America, Charlie Kirk being Candace's best friend. Charlie just gotten the Medal of Freedom at the White House. And this story drops today, right now. The tour director didn't even know. I called him on the phone. I said, hey, what's your reaction to the news? He didn't even know. But the media all had a statement and ready to go at the same time in lightning speed. What the real cherry on the top for me is the fact that Anthony Albanese, his reaction to Charlie Kirk's death, where he gave his condolences, I said it then, he's full of crap. Because we were coming out with a tour for next year with Charlie Kirk and some of his team. If you don't think we would have had the same issues with regards to their visas, I've got a bridge to sell you. They do not want right-wing populists in Australia. It's as simple as that. Lastly, I did ask the tour director about refunds. Everything's being refunded, everything's going out. Ticket booth, ticket tech, they're sorting it. But this is what it means to be a conservative in 2025.
The final one is the inciting of discord. Some of you would have seen written today a rare point of solid alliance between myself and Andrew Bolt over a visa cancellation with respect to Candace Owens. My view, as I've said before, is when someone applies for a visa, they are asking to be a guest in your country. If their purpose for coming is to start an argument and to incite discord, we don't have to say yes. If someone knocks on the door to your home and the reason they are turning up is to disrupt everything, it's up to you whether you let them in. And my approach is, with all the challenges we have to social cohesion, I'm very proud for Australia to draw a line and say, yep, Australians have freedom of speech. But people who come here wanting to cause harm in different ways, people who come here wanting to disrupt, people who come and want to promote their own brand of bigotry, we don't need to say yes. We can refuse, we can cancel, and I have, and I'll continue to do so. I think there is a strong case for the national interest of Australia being well served by Candace Owens being somewhere else, and she is not alone in that category.
Josie Els writes, God bless you. We are rooting for you from Australia. I hope you're rooting for me to get into Australia. By uncovering the flaws in the U.S., you have opened our eyes to the demonism that we are under in our own government too. I can't wait for them to approve your visa so that we can show you some Aussie love. Even that, it's up to the Supreme Court or the High Court of Australia. And if it happens, even that was meant to be, because I still can't believe that I'm banned from a country. Like, what am I doing that my country, I wasn't even going to speak about Israel, nothing. And yet the Zionist lobby rose up and she can't speak. I was going to speak about homeschooling and children and my backstory and race issues. And they were like, you can't come in. Okay, but you can still download my podcast on Spotify. I don't understand.
We have some pretty big news right now. Candace Owens just suffered a major loss in Australia. Remember when the Australian government barred her from entering the country? Well, today, the highest court in Australia, akin to the United States Supreme Court, essentially rejected her appeal, rejected her attempt to get into the country. Previously, the Australian government barred Candace Owens from entering the country on character grounds, specifically, as Australia's government previously noted that Candace Owens had a history of extremist and inflammatory comments towards Muslim, Black, Jewish, and LGBTQIA+ communities, which generated controversy and hatred. And well, now, Owens's lawyers wanted to get her into the country, wanted to allow her to come into Australia, potentially to do an appearance or speaking gig or whatnot, and well, now she won't be able to. According to the Associated Press, the High Court said absolutely not rejecting the appeal.
So Candace Owens just got banned from entering Australia and got her Australian visa application rejected ahead of a planned national speaking tour in Australia this November. This is because, according to the Immigration Minister, Tony Burke, Owens has the capacity to incite discord in almost every direction ahead of the planned November speaking tour. He went on to say that Australia's national interest is best served when Candace Owens is somewhere else. Now, for context, this is what Candace Owens had to say about the Australian people in 2021.
Deploy troops to Australia. When do we invade Australia and free and oppress under a totalitarian regime? When do we spend trillions of dollars to spread democracy in Australia? Australia currently, make no mistake, is a tyrannical police state. Its citizens are quite literally being imprisoned against their will. So when do we deploy?
Yeah, so apparently she was suggesting that Australia be invaded. Candace has scheduled a 5-day speaking tour of Australia in November with tickets ranging from $95 for general admission, $295 for a VIP meet and greet, and $1,500 for a private dinner with Candace Owens. Let's hope she got a good refund policy.
Woo, honey, I just gotta say, I am a Black American and I stand with Australia. Woo, did y'all hear about it? Candace Owens is banned, honey. She's been banned everywhere. They say she's been banned from another country. She got banned from funerals. Honey, people don't want to deal with Candace, and I understand. And we also got to talk about the leaked text messages that has been leaked by the young Republicans, and I'm so happy it's leaked. Let the truth ring out. Let them know how y'all really feel about black folks, okay? Because some of these black folks out here, they need a rude awakening. Some of them are so naive. So I say, young Republicans, speak out and let their asses know how y'all feel about them. Be honest and speak out. That's what I'm talking about, baby. So we got all this stuff we got to talk about. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. Let me tell you guys who I am before I continue on. I am Jessica. Hi, Nor. Yes, I'm an actress. I'm a comedian. I'm all on these platforms from Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, you name it. I'm there talking about politics, true crime, celebrity gossip, and a little bit about my business every now and again. All right, so let's get back up here. So I was on Phillip, and everybody's talking about Candace is being banned. I saw some comments. They said, oh my God, if you okay with this, then you don't like free speech. Let me tell you. In the Bible, it says your mouth, the tongue, it can kill, and she does kill people with her words, and how she goes around provoking people to anger, and it's just not good. If you like a lot of division and you like a lot of chaos, then maybe you're okay with Candace Owens. Maybe you're okay with everybody else, but people want peace. So whatever they have to do, if you have to silence to get peace, so be it. So be it. Okay? When you're in your house, you want peace. You're not going to have everybody just doing the most of going around provoking other people to anger with their words. No. So I'm with Australia. They have to do the best for them. And I'm an American. Okay? And I'm a Black American. And I agree with Australia. I'm a Black American, and I stand with Australia and everybody else that want to ban her ass. I stand with y'all. And I'm a Black American. I'm an American, and I stand with y'all. All right? I love saying that. I love it. All right, so let me play this, and we're going to talk about the text messages as well. All right, so Philip, what you got for me?
This Owens drama, because Australia is now refusing to let Candace Owens step foot on its land, or with the highest court in their country rejecting a visa challenge that she filed after the country blocked her from entering last year. And for some important context here, Candace was set to do a speaking tour in both Australia and New Zealand in November of 2024. But then Home Affairs Minister Tony Burke refused her visa on character grounds, citing the Migration Act. With that filing claiming were she to be allowed to enter Australia, there was a risk she would incite discord in the Australian community or a segment of the Australian community. And you had Minister Burke saying that because she is a political commentator, he examined her views and found they, quote, amounted to extremist and inflammatory comments towards Muslim, Black, Jewish, and LGBTQIA plus communities. With Burke adding that Australia was already experiencing heightened community tensions, and he believed that Candace's presence would amplify grievances and lead to hostility and violent or radical action. And then actually after Australia made their call, New Zealand followed suit and blocked her visa over there as well. But a judge later overturned overturned that one and said that she would be allowed, citing free speech. But then, back in Australia, Candace unsurprisingly did not agree with the decision, and she appealed it to the High Court. Right? And she argued that it violated the implied right of freedom of political communication. So sort of a free speech claim, but also Australia doesn't have a First Amendment free speech right the same way the US does. But again, now what we're seeing is the court rejected her, ruling that the implied freedom of political communication is not a personal right, and it is also not unlimited or absolute. And then actually, on top of having her visa denied, the court ordered Candace to pay the Australian government's costs related to this case. And to Administrator Burr calling the court's decision a win for social cohesion and adding, inciting discord might be the way some people make money, but it's not welcome in Australia. Australia's national interest is best served when Candace Owens is somewhere else. So far, Candace Owens has not publicly...
I agree with y'all, Australia, okay? Keep the peace, okay? And keep the chaos out. You know, you can't go to any church and just say what you want to say, okay? You can't go to the peaceful countries, they don't have all that hocus pocus and all that disturbance and people deliberately going around provoking people to anger with their words. You know, I'm so happy. All right, so let's go to people that was speaking amongst themselves. Their text messages got leaked, and now people want to act surprised. I'm not surprised. I just want you to tell the other Black Americans how you guys feel. Where Nick at? Shout out to Nick. Nick, keep on putting your foot on their neck. Keep letting them know how y'all feel about them, because they are under an illusion and delusion that I'm not going to say the obvious, but keep speaking y'all truth, okay? This is America. If Candace Owens can be here speaking her truth in America, so should Nick and so should the rest. And hopefully it'll wake up everybody and people will stop being so naive to know how you guys really feel about them. They don't think that they think that you guys really love them, you know? I think it's a joke, but they feel like, oh my goodness, they want to be my friend. So I'm glad this shit got leaked out. But they want your acceptance so bad. They want your approval so bad. They want to be validated by you so bad. They're on their knees just begging, please, can I enter your all white towns? Okay. And you guys know that. I'm sure y'all laugh at that shit too. I laugh at it too, honey. It's ridiculous. It's really sad, right? And I tell them, I said, listen, you guys cannot sit with them. You guys just don't have their DNA. No matter how you want to put it and slice it, you're not one of them, and know it. But anyway, let's continue on. Let's hear what they got to say. You guys ready? Let's play it.
So, this is insane, the biggest story in politics today, but it's also entirely expected if you've been paying attention to the Republican Party since Donald Trump got into office. Leaders of young Republican groups throughout the country.
All right, y'all. I'm going to move past this spot because I already did a live stream on what these young Republicans say. It is really, she's showing the same video. So I'm going to push forward.
I'll see that Candace Owens got denied her visa for her tour there in Australia. Australia originally ruled in 2024 that she applied in 2024 or something like that, said you can't get a visa because of character. That was their ruling. And then she appealed to the higher court. The higher court came back and said, nope, you're not coming in. I don't know what she was intending to do then there. Probably just her normal talking points and stuff like that. Maybe she was going to be a crocodile hunter, like, good day, mate. That's right. Yeah, that's not a knife. No, that's a knife. But I don't really know exactly why she was trying to get in. But that being said, how do y'all feel about her? And how do y'all feel about her being denied a visa to get into a country because of her opinions and her character is what they claimed. Here's my personal opinion on Candace Owens. And this is just from my perspective. I haven't watched a ton on her. I watched her a little bit a couple years ago. To me, she came across as a strong woman, very opinionated, who didn't give a crap what anybody else thought. I don't really have a problem with that. I didn't necessarily agree with everything she said, but I don't really have a problem with that. But recently, she's gone way off the rails on conspiracy theory stuff since the Charlie Kirk assassination. So it's kind of I'm not nearly as willing to listen as much to her anymore. That being said, I don't know that she should have been denied based on character, but hit me up in the comments and let me know.
So Candace Owens tried to go to Australia and Australia straight up said no. Her visa was literally rejected on the grounds of inciting discord, which is the bureaucratic way of saying, we've seen your YouTube channel. Now, she did actually try to appeal this decision, but the High Courts of Australia came back, said nope, and stamped the ban in permanent ink. The reasoning, her history of hate speech, misinformation, and comments that fuel division. Now, this is where the irony really hits, because this is the same woman who built her entire brand on mocking people for being too sensitive, crying about cancel culture, and screaming about accountability. But the second that accountability shows up wearing an Australian badge, suddenly it's censorship and tyranny. And she spent literal years telling other countries to tighten up their borders, but the second that one closes on her, it's oppression. It's the classic far-right paradox: freedom of speech for me, but strict borders for everybody else until the border says no to you. So yeah, Candace Owens just found out the hard way. You can't preach about border control and then cry when one controls you.
We have some pretty big news right now. Candace Owens just suffered a major loss in Australia. Remember when the Australian government barred her from entering the country? Well, today, the highest court in Australia, akin to the United States Supreme Court, essentially rejected her appeal, rejected her attempt to get into the country. Previously, the Australian government barred Candace Owens from entering the country on character grounds. Specifically, as Australia's government previously noted, that Candace Owens had a history of extremist and inflammatory comments towards Muslim, Black, Jewish, and LGBTQIA+ communities, which generated controversy and hatred. And well, now Owens' lawyers wanted to get her into the country, wanted to allow her to come into Australia, potentially to do an appearance or speaking gig or whatnot. And well, now she won't be able to. According to the Associated Press, the High Court said absolutely not, rejecting the appeal. So spread the word. Full updates on my Substack as always, link in bio. Subscribe for free. Follow along for more.
Let's talk about this latest Candace Owens drama, because Australia is now refusing to let Candace Owens step foot on its land, with the highest court in their country rejecting a visa challenge that she filed after the country blocked her from entering last year. And for some important context here, Candace was set to do a speaking tour in both other Nazi ideology.
So I've just seen that Candace Owens' visa denial from 2024 has been upheld by the High Court, which means that she's not going to be able to go to Australia and do whatever she wants to do. And this may be surprising to a lot of people, considering like Australia's politics or whatever, but it isn't surprising to me, and it's for one very good reason. I have to confess that I spent a disproportionate amount of time watching Australian Border Force. So I could have told you from time, if then people tell you you're not getting in, you are not getting in. So if you don't know what Australian Border Force is, it's a program that comes on TV. I'm not even sure what channel it comes on, but it always seems to be on my television anyway, and I'm watching it. And they have people that are trying to kind of gain access to Australia, either like it's an immigration issue or it's a customs issue. So they like, if it's customs, like maybe they're searching for like drugs or food or whatever else like that. And immigration, maybe they've come in and they're like, oh, are you going to work here? Or are you actually coming here to, you know, sell something or whatever? And they're always trying to weed them out. Let me tell you, those people are strict. There's one customs one, I remember they had this like English girl on there, and I think they blurred her face actually, and they don't always do that. She was so distressed. This like English middle class white girl that was on there, and they had found 3, I think it wasn't even 3, it was like 2.5 carrots in her suitcase, right? Raw carrots that it seemed like the sort of thing that when you go to an Airbnb and you know, when you've got all that food that's kind of left over, then you're like, oh, these carrots, you know what, just chuck them in the suitcase, let's just get out of here, just trying to clear the apartment. That's what it felt like to me that she'd done. The way these people acted like she'd got 4 keys of cocaine in her bag. That man was going hard. He was like, listen, this could affect the biodiversity. Like, and she's crying. She's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so like really, really distressed about this. The way this man was talking, like she was like big narco trafficker. Like she was, what's his name? Pablo Escobar. And I think in the end, they did let her off, like, and they didn't give her a fine. She was traumatized. I'm pretty sure that's the reason they blacked out her face. She's probably in therapy and rehab now from that experience. And they were still so serious. They were like, this could affect the biodiversity of the country, blah, blah, blah. They are so strict on those things. They're not letting anything in. And my favorite is when they have like Asian people that coming from like China or something like that. And they'll come in and they'll be like, oh, have you got any food? They're like, no. No, you open it, their whole suitcase full of food, bird's nest, birds, eels alive, a tree, like all of them. They're like, We're sorry. We didn't understand. Like, I love every part of it. I love it. It's crazy. The people are so strict that work there, and the as I said, like the Chinese and the Asian people are my favorite because they always come in like, oh my god, I didn't know. And I was like, you know what? God, I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. But the reason I say like how strict Australia is in terms of like the immigration stuff and the custom agents. I've never been to Australia. My only frame of reference is this border force, is because I once saw an Irish border force. Like it was like the exact same format, but it was based in Ireland. Bro, let me tell you the difference. Them Irish people were like, they were like literally there for the crack. They were so easygoing. They were like laughing with some people. Some people were getting abusive. They're like, you know what, calm down. Like it was just it was the polar opposite from the Australian thing. And I was like, oh, okay, I see what's happening here. So realistically, like if Candace had just watched one episode of this thing, she would have known it was a non-starter, but apparently she didn't. Next time, if anyone wants to know about anything, like just come and ask me, because I've literally watched every episode of these things. So now I'm kind of seeing multiple episodes of the same thing. So it's kind of a bit annoying because I know what the outcome is, but more times than not, the outcome is you're not getting in.
These two news articles are making my day. Elon Musk was an illegal immigrant working here illegally before he became a U.S. citizen. How hypocritical of you, Republican Party. Interesting. Elon Musk, you became an advocate against illegal immigration. I'm not really sure what happened there. And also, Candace Owens got barred from Australia. So, like, she was supposed to host this Republican conference over there. People bought, like, these $1,500 tickets. And then she got yeeted. They said, nope, we're not going to approve your visa and you're not allowed to come over here. Sorry, bye, girl. And who knows if she has a refund policy for these people who bought her tickets. I hope they all lose out. I hope you guys lose your money. And I hope Candace Owens realizes that maybe if you didn't act like this, you wouldn't be getting literally barred from countries. I don't know. I don't know what to do with this information. I just woke up and found out these two articles. And I don't even know what to do with it. It's kind of really funny, hilarious. Anyways, my name is Mercedes Chandler, and we discuss these kind of things. Give me a follow or you won't see my face again. Thank you, bye.
So Candace Owens, the far-right pro-Trump commentator, has just been banned from entering Australia and has had her visa taken away due to her latest controversial and highly offensive remarks that she has made repeatedly on her social media platforms. Here's what Tony Burke, the Immigration Minister of Australia, told the Sydney Morning Herald. Candace Owens has the capacity to incite discord in almost every direction. ... Australia's national interest is best served when Candace Owens is somewhere else.
I'm feeling vindicated. Someone I've always hated is finally getting their just desserts. Better late than never always works. I'm feeling vindicated. Everybody, I'm feeling vindicated. Someone I've always hated is finally getting their just desserts. Better late than never always works. I'm feeling vindicated. I'm hating 9 to 5. I'm hating for a living. Don't ask me why. She'll never be forgiven. 'Cause she's finally getting what she deserves. Better late than never always works. I'm feeling vindicated. Ooh! Australia really said, we have enough venomous reptiles. We're good, Candace. We're good.
Y'all might remember this last woman. She's the one that sings, I never thought the leopards would eat my face. That's her. That's the same woman. So anyway, look like Candace is highly disappointed. I don't know. She's so disappointed. I wonder if she even got that money. She probably didn't. So anyway, Candace, I guess you just won't be seeing Australia. You're going to have to just hang that one up, girl. I don't blame them one bit for not letting you in. I wish we could figure out a way to get your ass the hell up on out of here, but unfortunately we can't. So y'all, this is my final live stream for today. I'm going to go ahead and conclude. Thank you so much for being here. This was kind of a fun day. Although I got a late start, it was still kind of fun. So y'all, I will see you tomorrow. I got a real good one that I'm going to be starting with. we're going to be talking about Donald Trump and his ballroom. There are people really upset with Donald Trump over the latest thing he done did, and we'll get to that tomorrow. Everybody, please enjoy the rest of your night. Shalom, family.